No one assumes that the things can go wrong until they go wrong. But in the case you have epilepsy or whatever, or any other chronic disease, you have to ask before you go. And it's not all the insurance, but what is the healthcare system in the country, which is important.
Fellow Homo sapiens, happy 2025. My name is Torie Robinson, and welcome back to Epilepsy Sparks Insights. If you're new or you haven't done so already, please do like and comment on this video to support the channel and our mission to decrease the discrimination faced by and improve the quality of life of those affected by the epilepsies, and get everybody appreciating the cool epilepsy research out there. Now, travelling with epilepsy. Heaps of us, if not the majority of our listeners, do value travelling. It can be one of the most enjoyable and educational things for us to do in life. But what happens when you have an epilepsy? How do you prepare? What do you do if you have a seizure overseas? All of these things can be worrisome for the person with the epilepsy and for their family or caregivers. So today we cover all of these things with star epileptologist Manuel Toledo, who shares his experiences with us. Also, make sure that you do tune in until the end of this episode to learn how you can contribute to improving travelling for people with an epilepsy.
I'm a neurologist, epileptologist in Barcelona with a large experience treating patients with epilepsy, and I've been involved in different fields of the epilepsy. I think that almost all the fields, and it's something that I have a big interest just to the treating patients and the quality of life. So that's something that I will remark from myself. I pretty much in the last few years, I pretty much focus on that.
I like that you say quality of life, because that's the important bit, I think, when seeing a clinician. It's about quality of life, not just about drugs or minimizing seizures or whatever. It's about how they feel and how their life is, right?
Sure. Basically, when you're an epileptologist, I don't expect myself to be treating patients that they just take medications and they remain seizure free and they don't have to any further problems across their lives. Even when we control seizures, they need further information and we need to be there. And it's not about seizures, it's about quality of life. That means pregnancies, that means mood, family, many things that it's important to be supporting or giving some advice to patients.
Thank you for saying that. And so we were nattering about this before we started, but you mentioned, so I asked you, what's the most challenging thing that you come across, or what you find to be the most challenging topic with epilepsy? And you mentioned their leisure and things like traveling. Tell us about that.
Well, yes, we were talking about that, and then many of the questions that I have to my patients are relatively easy for me, like, doctor, can I drink? Doctor, should I sleep? How many hours? So those for me, it's like I have like an automatic response, and not easy. But when they say leisure, I like to travel, some sports, but travel is a big issue, because I think the most common hobby of everyone around the world is traveling. Nowadays, everyone travels, and it's something that when they come to me, my patients and my families, it's always let's see what can I recommend them.
Do you find often that the people with the epilepsy are often quite nervous, and if you see their parents or carers as well, they're often quite nervous? How does it work?
Of course, overall, I think when patients become teenagers and they want to make their first travel outside the borders of the UK or Spain, maybe to Paris, it's when parents come to me blank and say, doctor, my son or my daughter wants to travel abroad.
On their own.
We do? Yeah. And they are going to be with friends. No control for first time, medications, sleep times, and so on. And the big question for me is that I guess that if you travel from London to Berlin or to Paris, it's not a big issue. But the problem is when you move into Congo or to countries where I don't really manage what is the health system status in those countries, or where is even the the medications they have in those countries. That's when the big question for me, what to do if my relative has a seizure in whatever country that I don't know nothing, even sometimes the name.
Yeah, and actually, there are even some countries they don't have a name for epilepsy, right? Or the drugs might be called something completely different, or the drugs might not be available.
Yes. Many. I mean, if you move to Africa, to South America, I will say that according to my experience from the 25 anti-seizure medications that we have available nowadays in the world, maybe you get 2 or 3 of them, and that's it. And yeah, and that's a big issue.
And another issue, do you find? Well, so I'm when I go traveling, I'm really ordered. I'm like, okay, boom, 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 boom. Here's my drugs. I take loads more with me than I think I probably need. And long haul, I worry about sleep a lot. Well, I don't worry now because I know how to deal with it. But like, for instance, I'll take a drug to make me sleep if I'm traveling to Australia or somewhere else long haul. If I don't do that, I will be inviting at least one seizure. So do you talk about sleeping patterns and managing like time differences with people? Is that something to consider?
Yes, that's basic. And it's something that even I know many of the countries of the world and the time difference, because my patients say, I'm going to travel to Australia. And then I have to ask them what part of Australia,
Right.
Or the US. Okay, US, but what do you mean? East or West Coast?
Yeah.
Because I think the strategy to face that is different. But in general, my recommendation is sleep more than you used to. Take 1 day extra in your travel to rest and sleep. Just don't land on the country and just drive. Just stay one night wherever you land and take your medication initially according to your pattern in your country of origin. And then you adjust little by little, like 2 hours every day. And then usually in 2 or 3 days, you can be adjusted. And in case of hesitation, I always recommend to take extra.
Extra dosage.
I mean, yeah, if you hesitate, it's don't run out of medication. Just take a little bit extra. So take your medication in advance if you need, because we don't want you to be in the low doses. So an extra doses of any anti-seizure medication usually can lead you to have some more somnolence or dizziness, but not like a severe adverse event. So, and however, running out of a medication have the consequence of may have the consequence of a seizure. So I always recommend, if you hesitate when to take it, advance a little bit. So a little bit extra medication is not that bad.
You made me think of a time I was I don't know what I was thinking or I wasn't thinking. Ages ago, like 8 years ago, I went to Perth in Australia, which at the time wasn't too far away from us in time. It was only 7, 8 hours at the time. Yeah. But I was so excited. Excitement can bring on seizures for me. And then also not enough sleep, especially on the way back. I couldn't sleep at all. And I stopped in Qatar and I basically gone about 20 hours without sleep. And then it was the following day. I had a really bad tonic-clonic seizure, really bad. It was my most recent one, actually, because this taught me, don't be an idiot. So now I'm going to Canada in January. I can't wait for Epilepsy Conference. And I've got an extra day at the beginning and an extra day at the end where I can recover and prepare. So basically chill out each day. And I'm so glad I do that now because it is really preventing me from having seizures. So yeah, I just agree completely with what you said.
Yeah. An extra day, I think it's for your safety, for the well-being. It's an extra day. It's very, very important. Sometimes I depending on each one, I help with some kind of hypnotic meds, natural remedies, melatonin.
Oh, yes, of course. Yes.
Valeriana, which is herbs remedies to help to have a longer sleep or to deep sleep to prevent seizures. Whatever strategy, it's helpful, and it's very, very important.
And it's not just about sleep, is it? Sometimes I think it's like calming down, just chilling, preparing for when you are actually traveling, so it's as, smooth as possible. And yeah, because you can have as much sleep as you want, but if you're stressed, that could be another seizure trigger.
Yeah, take your time. That's a recommendation for everyone, but we have to assume that, when I travel quite often, and I place myself before traveling in the worst of scenario.
Yes, same.
I'm going to be delayed. I'm going to miss my flight. My suitcase is going to arrive on time. Because I put myself in that scenario in advance, things usually don't go that bad. And I say, well, it wasn't not that bad. It was just a delay. Not that bad. I got my suitcase, It's something like every time we travel, and it's something that we like it very much. And particularly if you have epilepsy and you need to rest and so on, don't get stressed, don't get upset. Try to calm down and assume that leisure time, you are not clever if you are not having fun, when you travel. That's what I think.
Thank you. And that's the important thing, I think. So say if somebody speaks to you about, okay, I want to go and travel to the other side of the world, and you might feel, oh God, I don't know what to say. Yes, I want you to be able to travel, but okay, you need to prepare. You don't want to hold them back, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's very important. I mean, wherever you go, it's really, exciting for every one of us. Probably because you travel last month to Mallorca is because we meet each other, and it's traveling, and you get great experience, and it's pretty good for our brain, our mind, to see different cultures. And in the epilepsy world, but to going into the epilepsy, I have learned a lot just by traveling and sharing experiences from different places around the world. And that's,
I think it's the best form of education ever, is traveling. Just a quick one. What would you say for people who are worried about things like insurance, or being in a country where if they do become unwell, it may cost them an absolute fortune, mentioning no names?
Well, it's something very important. I think that no one assumes that the things can go wrong until they go wrong. But in the case you have epilepsy or whatever, or any other chronic disease, you have to ask before you go. And it's not all the insurance, but what is the healthcare system in the country, which is important, because you may assume that in South America you have very excellent hospitals, but they can be extremely expensive if you move down there.
And North America as well, I think.
Yeah, in North America, we are not going to talk about that. If something goes wrong there and you have to be admitted into the hospital just for taking one medication, that will be probably the cost of half of the budget of your life budget. It's very bad. So the insurances are basic and important. And then if you have to shorten a little bit the days of your travel or whatever, make it. Otherwise, you can have a very tough time at that time in the travel. Yeah.
Brilliant tips. Thank you so much, Manuel. It's brilliant. So traveling is amazing and really important for your quality of life and educating yourself and contradicting yourself. But also we've got to play it safe as well, right?
Yes, very good. And I need your feedback from you and my patients to see what their experiences traveling and what the preventions they take and what they do for me to give recommendations to the next ones trying to travel around the world.
Okay, brilliant. So for people listening or viewing, please contact us with tips and also things that haven't worked, I think, as well.
Sure.
And also if you've made any mistakes or haven't done something and you're like, oh, I feel like an idiot, I should have done that, or I wish that I'd had the certain care in this country but it wasn't what I expected, that would be really useful too.
Very useful. And say the country, that's important for me because I have patients that go to Burkina Faso. I don't know what is the health system there, what to do. If someone had an experience, good or bad, in Burkina Faso, please tell us. That's the way for me to recommend my patients what to do if they like to travel over there.
If you're a clinician, if you have an interest maybe in helping us form a network of clinicians globally, of people that with an epilepsy that they could contact in a certain country, please let us know, right? Because this was your idea, Manuel. I think it's an amazing idea.
Yeah.
Because just knowing we have somebody to contact in an emergency situation, or if we just need someone to talk to, because let's face it, epilepsy is more than seizures, right? It would be amazing.
Thank you, Torie.
Thank you so much to Manuel for being so candid on his thoughts on travelling when you have an epilepsy, seeing things also from the perspective of loved ones as well as the people with the epilepsy, and for the cool idea about an international network of people who can help those travelling if they have an epilepsy. You can find out more about Manuel and his cool work on the website torierobinson.com, where you can also access the podcast, the video and the transcription of this episode. If you haven't already, don't forget to support our channel by liking, commenting and subscribing to it, and share this episode with your friends, colleagues, family members, universities and schools, because this supports our mission to decrease the discrimination faced by and improve the quality of life of those affected by the epilepsies, and it gets everyone appreciating the incredibly cool epilepsy research that is out there. See you next week.